Breaking news tonight on Connecticut's news station. Former President Donald Trump is federally indicted in his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results.
Also, a Connecticut man is in the hospital tonight after being hit by a tractor trailer while crossing the road in his wheelchair. We'll have the latest details.
And police departments across Connecticut are trying to reach out to their communities tonight. We're going to show you the National Night Out event in one city plagued by gun violence this year.
Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we start tonight with former President Donald Trump's indictment on felony charges of working to overturn the 2020 election results. Good evening. I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here at 10. This is the third criminal case against former President Trump and the first about his actions before the deadly January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
We want to go right out to Fox 61's Brent Harden in the Breaking News Center with the details on these newest charges against the former president. Brent.
Jen and Ben, the four-count indictment details the Justice Department's charges that former President Trump tried to block the peaceful transfer of presidential power. These are, as you said, the first charges against Trump directly related to the 2020 election. Trump is charged with conspiracy to defraud the U.S., conspiracy to impede the January 6th congressional proceeding, and conspiracy against the right to vote and have votes counted. The indictment also accuses Trump of corruptly blocking the certification of the electoral vote.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
Now, former U.S. Attorney for Connecticut, Stan Torti, tells Fox 61 the DOJ will have many challenges prosecuting Trump.
Obviously, this is unprecedented. That there are obviously going to be some serious legal issues around this because there are statutes that are being used in connection with a presidential election that are used for other, I don't want to say mundane events, but compared to a presidential election, they are mundane.
The Trump campaign is calling the charges fake and asking why it took 2.5 years to bring them. Trump is due in court on Thursday. We'll continue to bring you updates on this case as they develop. Here in the Breaking News Center, I'm Brent Harden, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station. Jen, Ben, back to you.
All right, Brent, thank you. Let's get to the Weather Watch here in a first check of the forecast after a picture-perfect day.
Yeah, and tonight also picture-perfect, Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, literally. Check out this photo from Dan Butler in New Britain. This is the full supermoon outside tonight with an orangey glow. And from Nina Tomlinson, quite a lot of detail here. Really beautiful shot. Nina, thank you for sharing it with us. This is from West Haven. And we're going to talk more about what makes this moon so super in just a few minutes. One of the other big stories tonight is the chill that is settling in. Already seeing Norwich dipping back into the upper 50s. And by the time we head towards daybreak, we're actually going to take a run at the daily record low temperatures for the date. Our forecast 52 in the Hartford area. The record is 50, so we'll get really close. The same is true for the Connecticut shoreline as well. We're forecasting to get within a couple of degrees, so it's going to be a close call, and it'll be a chilly start to the day and almost a little appetizer of early fall weather. After a chilly start, bright sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures will rebound quickly, and it'll be a nice sunny day with low humidity as we head through the afternoon. Low 70s at noon, and as we head through the end of the day, we'll see high temperatures between 75 to right around 80 degrees. We do have rising humidity later Thursday and then a rising chance for showers and storms, and some could be heavy. We'll explain coming up.
All right, thank you, Rachel. New details at 10 after a man was hit by a tractor trailer while crossing a road in his wheelchair. It happened on Route 32 in Willimantic late this morning. Fox 61's Jake Garcia has the latest information as the man remains in the hospital tonight.
Willimantic police say around 11:30 Tuesday morning, first responders were called to the area of West Main and Cantor Drive for a crash involving a man in a wheelchair and a semi-truck. The call coming from Willimantic firefighters who were training just one street over.
And on the way back to the firehouse, the officer of the crew began a radio transmission to say that he was returning to the station. Mid-transmission, he looked down and noticed a 74-year-old elderly male laying in the roadway next to a wheelchair.
Fox 61 obtaining the audio from that radio transmission.
Engines returning, disregard. We got a person out of a wheelchair, West Main Street and Cantor Drive. Start me a mutual aid ambulance at this time.
The Willimantic fire chief says firefighters immediately began first aid, and that's when they discovered the victim had collided with the tractor trailer.
When my fire engine crew disembarked the fire engine to start render first aid, he hadn't even gotten out of his cab yet. It just happened moments before. He ran up to the fighters and said, "Hey, I think this guy hit the side of my truck." Bystanders suggested that the operator of the wheelchair just kind of entered the intersection and collided with the right rear tires of the tractor trailer truck. Very unfortunate accident.
Officials on scene say it did not appear the man was ran over, but hit the tires as they were in motion. The 74-year-old was taken to a nearby hospital, then airlifted to Hartford Hospital to be treated.
His injuries are very severe, but given the circumstances, he has the best chance of survival, given that it happened only moments before my fire engine crew was able to render first aid.
Police are still investigating the crash. In Willimantic, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Jake, thank you. New details tonight in the death of a woman in Vernon last month. The arrest warrant for the suspect says that he choked his girlfriend out of anger. He's also accused of giving his child alcohol, and investigators also say that the apartment was very messy. The suspect told investigators after he got out of jail he stopped taking his psych medicines. He's charged with murdering 22-year-old Anastasia Paul and is also facing several other charges.
New details tonight after a Branford doctor stands accused of sexually assaulting one of his patients. Investigators say that Dr. Michael Sheehan inappropriately touched a 20-year-old woman during an exam. The victim told police she never asked for her private areas to be checked. She also claims she didn't tell Dr. Sheehan that she was having any issues there. Sheehan has been employed by Branford Pediatric and Adolescents since 2008, and he also worked in the practice's Clinton office. Well, new at 10 police departments across Connecticut took part in the annual National Night Out, an effort to connect with their communities.
The event comes as some cities deal with a wave of recent gun violence and homicides, and that includes the city of Waterbury, which is where we find Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner to show us how officers were out in the Brass City tonight. DeAndrea.
Hi, you guys. Well, while it's quiet right now, it wasn't like this a couple of hours ago. There was live music, people blocking this entire road, vendors and food trucks. And all of this was an effort to bring the community together with law enforcement officers.
Without the support of the community, we can't do our job. So it's events like this that will help that.
He's talking about National Night Out, an annual event where police officers and other officials gather to try and bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community.
It's good for the public.
Especially at a time that Waterbury Deputy Chief says is needed, as the city has seen an increase in crime this year. A 17-year-old young man is seriously injured after being shot on Monday night.
The city's struggling a little bit with some crime, and I think if everybody could come out together and support the police, support your community, it's a win for everybody.
In East Hartford,
we're trying to take a town and turn it into a community. This is the type of event that does just that.
East Hartford has recently seen an uptick in crime too, but the chief credits the community's trust for helping them get solved.
We have an outstanding detective bureau, but why we're so successful here in East Hartford is because of the community.
And people say events like National Night Out continue to cultivate that trust.
We all need to work together to really help make this city the best that it can be.
And you guys, nationally, this event has been happening for nearly 40 years. And here in Waterbury, the deputy chief tells me they've been doing it for at least 7. In Waterbury, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, DeAndrea. Well, recreational marijuana sales have been legal in Connecticut for more than 6 months now, and leaders met today to talk sales and regulation. There were nearly $24 million in sales for medical and adult use cannabis in June alone. The Social Equity Council talked further development this morning. The group approved another equity business from an area that qualifies as disproportionately impacted. That map will now change to include even more communities disproportionately targeted by the war on drugs. The council is prioritizing more businesses from those areas as Connecticut's cannabis industry keeps expanding.
A traffic alert tonight for you if you're driving along I-95 and East Lyme. Sections of the highway will be closed at time as part of a nearly $150 million project to the highway. Rock blasting started on I-95 North today to remove about 800 feet of ledge. It'll happen twice a day, Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The blasting is expected to last for 6 to 8 weeks.
We're going to be able to send out a 30-minute heads up notice via text message to let them know that this is what's happening. When they built this highway, 70 years ago, didn't think about what would happen, decades later, but here we are now.
Crews will be adding another travel lane between exits 74 and 75. They'll also build a full-width shoulder. They'll lower 95 by about 8 feet, fix a bridge on Route 161, and reconfigure the exit 75 on and off ramps.
Happening tonight, more than $1 billion is on the line in a massive Mega Millions drawing. The jackpot is estimated to reach right now $1.1 billion in tonight's drawing. That would make it the 6th largest in U.S. history. The winnings can either be taken in annual payments or over 30 years or in a lump sum, which would be about $550 million. So in about 45 minutes, you can quickly flip over to our sister station on the CW20 to see the Mega Millions drawing live at 10:59 p.m. We will also have the winning numbers right over here on Fox 61 for the news at 11.